Queensland Treasurer Curtis Pitt recently handed down his third state budget and his last before the next state election. Now, while the education sector and jobs could be the big winners, there is much more on the table for local residents. Joining me now is the State MP for Ipswich, Jennifer Howard. Jennifer, is this a good budget for local residents?
This is a great budget for local residents here in Ipswich. For too long we've been overlooked, but I'm really pleased to see that once again in this budget the Treasurer has really come through. Today we had the Minister for Health come out to Ipswich and talk to the Ipswich Hospital Executive about the funding that we've allocated to them to prepare a business case for expansion. The population in Ipswich is set to almost double in the next decade, so we really need to look at expanding our hospital so that we can take care of our community's health needs.
What plans are on the table for the expansion of the Ipswich Hospital?
Well, basically what we're looking at now is we're looking at what kind of things we can do to make more beds, which may entail taking some of the administrative rooms out of the Ipswich Hospital and using them for clinical rooms. There'll be a couple of things on the table, but that's what this $3 million is about. It's about looking at different options for expansion of the Ipswich Hospital.
Scrapped in 2012, this budget sees the reintroduction of drug courts. What will be the wider community benefit of this decision?
Well, drug courts were really successful when we had them before the LNP took government in 2012. They were a successful part of our community because they didn't necessarily deal with drugs as a criminal matter. We looked at it more as a health needs, how we can get people rehabilitated and back as functioning, contributive members of our community.
Within the education sector, what local schools are winners in the budget?
Well, since I was elected in 2015, we've had record funding spent on education in the Ipswich area. Over $18.5 million has been spent in Ipswich. In this round of budget, we've seen around about $12.8 million in the next financial year being spent on schools in Ipswich. So it's really terrific. Education is very important, as we all know, and I think that I'm very, very pleased to see that financial commitment going towards our schools.
Now, we've seen the government allocate sizable financial support to local special schools. In light of comments from Pauline Hanson, you must be proud of the support you supply.
Absolutely. Our special schools, when I was first elected in 2015, I went and met with my principals, and the special schools were really doing it tough. They deal with children who their life is very challenging, and they need to have the best first-class facilities, and I'm really pleased to see that happening here locally.
A few days ago, we saw the introduction of the Back to Work program. Could you outline briefly what that will achieve?
The Back to Work program is a wonderful initiative. We introduced it late last year to the regions in Queensland, and we saw almost 5,000 people get jobs out of that program. So what it means, and I'm really pleased to see it expanded out here to southeast Queensland, and what it means for Ipswich employers, if they employ somebody who's been unemployed for quite a long time, they will get $15,000 from the state government as an incentive for them to employ a long-term unemployed person. If they employ a young person who is at risk of being long-term unemployed, they get $20,000 from the state government to help them do that. And as I said, when we ran it in the regions, it was incredibly successful, and we saw over 5,000 people get jobs out of it.
Now, this is for any business who has employees commencing on or after July 1.
Absolutely, yep. Yeah.
And how much is this program going to cost the taxpayers?
We've set aside $200 million for the South East Queensland rollout of the Back to Work program.
So it's a very big investment by the Queensland government.
It's a huge investment, but it's worth it. We know that getting people back into the workforce has very positive flow on economic effects into our community.
Jennifer, thank you very much for joining us.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much, Damien.